you are someone who wants to study Masters in Management and want to know if France is worth it, this video is for you. Hi guys, I'm Shruti and I am a Masters in Management graduate from ESSEC Business School. After having spent the last 3 years of my life in Paris, I can help you with sharing some facts about my journeys, sharing some facts about how it looked like for my other friends and my colleagues, so that you can, by the end of this video, answer the question for yourself if it's worth it to study in France for you or not. So without further ado, let's get started. So when I started my journey as to researching Masters in Management, of course the first question that I asked myself was, do I want to do MIM, which is the Masters in Management, or do I want to do MBA, which is Masters in Business Administration? Now this is a very common doubt and I'm not going to elaborate a lot on it, but since I wanted to do an early career Masters, of course Masters in Management is what I chose because I really wanted to ensure that I study at the best schools possible for the particular course that I'm doing. So that's when France, Germany and Europe in general started popping up in my research. And when I would go and tell somebody about considering France as an option, I always got aunties and uncles telling me, hey, who goes to France? Why would you go to France? There's nobody that is going to speak in English. There is no course in English. And all of these kind of rumors, all of these kind of perceptions, biases that people had around France. So I also had my apprehensions, but I knew that I wanted to explore a new country, and I knew that I wanted to do it at the place where I'm also going to professionally grow. So for those of y'all who do not know, France is a home to leading brands that we see all over India, we see all over the world. And of course, when it comes to them hiring people and young talent, they are going to do it from French universities, from the best French universities, and specifically Masters in Management. So of course, when you look at these companies, you know that there is definitely a good employment opportunity that you're going to be catering to. So that's when I thought that, okay, fine, I am going to consider France as an option. Now, of course, what was next was that how easy or hard would it be for me to integrate into this professional network if I don't speak the language? And this is also a question I answer so many times, that of course you can definitely study and work in France without learning a single word of French. But then why would you? You can easily go to US, you can easily go to UK. There is so much talks about the fact that people want to work in France without speaking the language, but I'm going to say that Masters in Management is a pretty long course. It's going to last for 2 or 3 years for most of us. So why don't we actually look at it as a good thing and think about the fact that we're not only moving abroad for great career prospects, which will happen irrespective, but why don't we look at it with a perspective that we will also get a chance to learn a new language. It is the third most spoken business language in the world. And learning a new language definitely gives you that edge and that confidence in a new country that you're going to be really using in terms of growing as a person. So in no way am I fluent, but then if I were to go back in time and really work on my French since the start, I would have, not because my professional career does not look lucrative without speaking French fluently, but I would definitely have a better time, a more rustic experience, a more closed environment experience if I would be fluent in the language by now. So that's what I would say about this. Now, other than this, when it comes to affordability of the country, all of us know that definitely it's more affordable than UK, than US, than all the other countries, even in Asia, even in Australia, because the whole point is that European courses are going to be, whether it's in France or Germany, they are going to be slightly less priced. And then even when it comes to living and living expenses and all of that, you can choose with a wide variety of options that you're going to be having at your disposal that can be as cheap as about 25,000 INR per month for your rent, and it can be as expensive as 2 lakhs INR per month for your accommodation. So you can imagine that Europe really welcomes a very wide variety of people and with a wide variety of options for you to choose from in terms of how much you actually spend for this degree. And when it comes to tuition fees, again, it's on the lower end, which is of course one of the reasons why also people consider France and other countries in Europe, because along with all the other experiences that you get, you also get to study and get a master's degree at a very affordable price, sometimes as low as half of that of the same course in US, in UK for example. The last thing that I'm going to dive into is the salary and what you get out of the experience part of things. So let me start with the salary and then the experience. So when it comes to the salary, what you need to do, keep in mind, is that when I did just speak about the cost of living and the cost of tuition being lower, of course you can imagine that the salaries will also reflect that. So it's really about the average cost of living, it's really about the environment. So because these countries are a bit socialistic, they have lower tuition fees. Public universities are almost free in Europe in general. So you can imagine that even the distribution of income, even the distribution of the salaries that you get are not that high as you would expect in USA or in UK or in other really developed countries and environments, So of course you're going to be making lesser than these countries. So it's not going to be very less, it's not going to be as less as 50%, but I'm going to say that you can be making anywhere about 20 to 30% less than these other countries. So that's also something you might want to keep in mind. If that is your priority, then probably you can keep it in mind to decide if France is worth it for you or not. And now coming to the experience part of things, because the course actually originated, the Masters in Management originated in France, it's called Grande École, and it originated in these schools that we hear about so often. You can imagine that they're the pioneers of this course, right? So like they are adapting their MBAs now based on the MIM they have developed, you can imagine that other countries such as USA are developing their MIM based on the MBA they had from before. So you can see the stark difference of how the experience is really defined and designed for young graduates in Europe. So you can imagine to learn a lot, to grow a lot, to explore a lot. So if that's something you're looking for, you definitely want to keep in mind that your Masters in France can be really that journey that you have towards defining your management career abroad. So you're not only going to be enrolling yourself in a longer period of course, which gives you more time to explore, but you're also going to be interacting with people who are younger. So you can imagine a class range of about 21 to 26. So you can imagine that you're going to be interacting with the people who are going to be approximately your age and in the same bucket, unlike MBA. So if that's something you want to do, definitely again, kudos to France MIM. But then if you want a more accelerated program where you can just go, you can get what you want out of the course and then work in the country, then probably you can look at other countries as well. Now coming to again the part of the course that was very important for all of us who have done Masters in Management is the compulsory internship part. Now again, this is a great opportunity that you have again in the MIM in France, because you need to do 2 internships to be able to graduate. So you can imagine that that gives you a chance to really work by default, and when you have such a criteria on your head to graduate, you're definitely going to find an internship. When all around you find internships, you're not going to be the only one who does not. So you can imagine that even if it's hard to find an internship for certain people, that doesn't mean they don't. So you can always keep in mind that with that 1 year of experience that you will already have in your bucket even before graduating, it'll definitely give you an edge when you find a job. When you're finding a job, you're going to be getting better opportunities, you're going to be having a better idea about what you want to apply for, unlike an accelerated course where you have studied, you've probably done 1 internship and you've not explored enough to know what exactly you want to do. So again, if you are someone who's looking for this kind of stuff happening to you in the professional mission, you can definitely consider MIM again, and that's why France is going to be worth it for you. And yeah, the last part about the experience I'm going to say is that the classes in French MIM, as per so many students I've talked to across France, even in the smaller cities, even in big cities like Paris, Lyon and stuff, what's really common between all of these is that the class is divided into French and internationals. So that makes it a very exciting mix of people, because since you just come to the country, you're definitely going to be divided only because of the language. Of course, not literally. For your projects, you're still going to be working with French people. For everything else, you're still going to be interacting with them. But then when it comes to like really, connecting with people on a day on day basis, you're going to be doing with the international students. And you can imagine